Hello everyone, Jim Hannon here from Moonscapes. Just want to give you a little guided tour of the telescope before I start imaging tonight. This is my second try. Sky is clear but pretty hazy, but it should be passable for some imaging tonight. We'll see. So let's just take a look quick at the telescope, which you didn't really get to see in the dark the other night. Down below, those are two battery packs for driving the scope out here without electricity. And then we have the pier. Now, last time you saw this, the pier concrete only came up to the ground level. I added another bag of concrete to bring it farther up the post, and as you can see, the post has been painted, and that has stabilized the mount immensely. It's really pretty steady now, and I could always go up another cone and another bag of concrete if I really wanted to. I don't think it'll be necessary. And let's go now to some of the components of the telescope. Over here is, first of all, these are counterweights, and all they do is they counterbalance the telescope up on top, and that's necessary for the drives. The drives need to be balanced. If the telescope has no counterbalance, the drives just aren't going to work properly. So you balance the telescope accordingly with those. You loosen up the axes and hold the telescope out horizontally and move things around until everything is perfectly balanced, and then the telescope drives will work perfectly. This orange strap you see here, that's a dew heater, which will go on the tube of the telescope before I start imaging to help eliminate dew that forms on the lens. Now let's go on. The mount itself, as I said, it's an Atlas EQG mount. This one came from Orion Telescope, and the way it works is this is the polar axis. This is now aligned with Polaris. Well, not Polaris, actually, about 2/3 of a degree off Polaris to the exact pole. And this works by driving the telescope. If we come over this way, the telescope, if it's pointed at where it is now, it would drive this way, back this way, at the rate of the movement of the sky. You have to remember that when you're doing astrophotography like this, the stars rise and set just like the sun and the moon due to the Earth's rotation. And what this mount does, it takes that rotation out. Now, one thing about it though is you've got to realize that as good as these mounts are, they are not perfect. In the old days, you used to have to sit at a secondary telescope like this little one here, only probably was bigger than when I had to do it by eye, and you used to have to sit there and monitor a star on a crosshair. And if it drifted just a very little bit, you had hand controls which allowed you to move it back onto the star, and that's how you got perfect images. The downside, you had to be at the telescope in the cold if it was cold, in the buggy warm of summer like it is tonight, but the cold winter nights were the worst, and up to hours at a time guided. Now that is taken over by this little guy back here. This is a guide camera, CCD guide camera. You see the wires there. I got wires going all over. We'll talk more about those in a second. That, and you'll see on the computer when I'm up and running, that gets locked on a star, does a calibration, and from then on, when you're on your target, that little guy right here sends commands from the computer to the mount, tells it to track that star that it's locked in on, and I don't have to do anything but watch things go on. That's a fantastic invention. Those astro imagers are loving those things. Back here, this is the CCD camera that takes the images of my objects. Tonight it'll be the Veil Nebula, and this takes the images, and you can see it's connected here by cable to the computer inside my car. They go in the window over here and to the computer. Right here, let's go around here. It might be a little easier to see. This guy right here, this round thing, this is a filter wheel, and it works by just spinning. See, there's number 2, number 1. There's 5 slots, hole slots in there. This one here is clear. There's no filter now in front of the camera, and that would be taking what you call luminous. And then there's number 2 is a red filter, 3 is a green, 4 is a blue, number 5 is hydrogen alpha, which is a deep red. It's great for cutting into light polluted skies and for nebula. It's really great. And then back to 1 for the clear. Now the reason for this is a black and white camera. It's a monochrome camera, but I take color images, and it's done with this filter wheel. You take luminous, which is light, just white light, and then the red, green, and blue. and then all those images are combined in a program in the computer and processed, and you come up with a color image. So that's how that works. The telescope itself, it's a 102 millimeter or 4-inch f7. That means for a 4-inch, and in inches it would be about 28-inch focal length. It's a fairly wide field telescope, and it's great for the type of imaging I'm doing. But you can put lenses in there, borrow lenses, and it's great for the moon and planets also. And I have other instruments that I can put on this mount. And let's see, the other piece of equipment that is needed to go with all this is we'll come down here, and this is the hand controller. This little thing here, little baby, it's turned on. You calibrate the mount when it's already lined up, so it takes 2 seconds now to calibrate it and get tracking the night star. And then using these controls, I can go to anywhere in the sky sitting in the car, not out here at the scope, so I can be at my computer and do what I have to. So that's what this is, and it'll go over here and inside the car when I'm up and ready to run. So that's a little tour of the telescope itself, which you really didn't get to see the other night because it was dark and I was already imaging. So I thought I'd show you that, and hopefully we'll have some images to show you tonight. So that's it for this, guys, and hopefully, like I say, the sky is a little iffy, but might be good enough to get a few images tonight. Take care.